Hello there, my little jammed hearts. Welcome to this episode of Tea and Tarot. During episodes of Tea and Tarot, I tend to sling cards and sip tea because that is what I do best in the whole wide world. Amen. You might notice that my voice is a little bit lower than usual. I'm not sure if I've got something coming on by way of illness, but I'm just going to go ahead anyway because I feel very, very zingy and zesty for Tea and Tarot today. I want to sling cards for you guys. I want to talk about this really important topic, and I want to bring a little bit of a lift to the Tea and Tarot series as well, because I know that the first two episodes for 2019 were, let's just say, a little bit dark, a little bit sort of tuned in more to difficulties and chaos and the unexpected and dealing with challenges. And I think it's really important to create some episodes like that. But this one is going to be, as you can tell from the title, more about how we inject more fun and joy into our lives, how we can make ourselves feel better and get those lifts more often. So I'm excited to look into this particular one. I think it's high time we lifted it, you know, in the immortal words of Anna Wintour, this is Vogue, not glamour, let's lift it. And that is today what I'm gonna do for you guys, baby cakes. I have a little bit of a problem with today's episode, guys. This is tragic and I don't even know what to say about it. I don't even know if it's sacrilegious to be filming right now, to be completely honest. I don't have any tea because I've had a power cut. I've had a power cut, I have an electric oven, so the oven is not working and the kettle is not working. Yeah, so actually for me it's water and tarot today. I just grabbed this out of my fridge and this is going to have to do. But I want to talk about the tea that I would have had if I could. It feels so weird not having tea for Tea and Tarot. I'm really, really sorry guys, but this is the space that I carved out to film this today. So I want to get it done. You know, my Virgo moon is coming on strong and I want to get it done despite the fact that I'm having a little bit of a hitch. But what I wanted to tell you was that there's been an exciting development in my tea drinking journey. So what I was going to pick up, what I actually had right next to the kettle before I realised I'd had a bloody power cut, is a green tea blend. Actually, this one is Strawberry and Vanilla by Taylors of Harrogate, which I really love and which Waitrose don't appear to be stocking anymore, which sucks because I can't seem to find it anywhere. But their teas are amazing and I was going to go for this green tea blend, Strawberry and Vanilla. Now, the reason that that is an evolution for me and something worth mentioning is that a few Tea and Tarot episodes ago, when I did my episode on healthy, happy communication, I talked about how I don't really get on with green tea because I tend to find that the green tea obscures whatever flavour they've used with it. And underneath in the comments section, a lot of very helpful tea savvy people let me know that I'm probably just stewing the bag for a little bit too long, and that unlike an infusion, with a green tea, you've really got to just, you know, swirl it a few times and then the bag comes out. Otherwise, you're going to ruin the flavour. I took this to mind, I took this into account, and I can happily report that actually I'm very much more enjoying my green tea now, because I think I was stewing it for a little too long. I think I was leaving it like you would an ordinary bag for like 2 or 3 minutes, or a couple of minutes stirring, and actually maybe it's a minute and a half. Is 2 minutes a bit of an exaggeration? I don't know, but I was definitely doing it for too long anyway. So if you were one of those people who kindly let me know that I'm a green tea noob and I need to get it together, then thank you. And especially since my whole thing here on the channel is all about my love of tea, and I do bang on about tea, and I have got a cup that says tea makes everything better. Considering all of that, the fact that I needed to be schooled on how to drink green tea in my 30s is embarrassing. Moving on, before I get really bitter and twisted about it, I want to let you know, before I draw any cards today from the deck that I've selected, that this reading that I'm going to be doing is general. It's not specific. It's not geared towards any one specific person. It can't work like that, because I think the only way to give very specific advice, which is tailored, is to have one person in front of me, one person I'm doing a Skype reading for or video reading for. Obviously, when we're looking at general advice, you really have to just tune in with what resonates with you. Not everything is going to resonate with you, and that's absolutely fine. The deck that I've selected for today is a Paulina Cassidy deck, and it is the Joie de Vivre Tarot. It is so adorable. It's really cute. It's filled with little whimsical creatures in a fantastic fantasy land. It's very dreamlike. It's very inner child-like. I thought it would be perfect for the theme that we're going to be talking about today. And I do show cutaways of the cards that come up in Tea and Tarot episodes, so you want to make sure you're looking at the screen if you actually want to see the details of the cards and enjoy getting that up close look at them. But even if you are looking away, if you're doing the washing up or something else, I think it's fairly obvious when I'm going to be showing the cutaway, so just make sure you spin your head round a little bit and have a look at these cards because they are so bloody cute. I've had this deck for quite a long time now, and I do need to decant into a box because this box has had it. This box is kaput. It is a goner. It is so threadbare. But yeah, I really, really love Joie de Vivre. So cute. The characters are adorable, and I think it's going to really connect us well to the themes of fun and joy and adventure. Sometimes it's just important for us to know that we can bring in more joy, more opportunities for adventure, more of a sense of excitement in our lives. And I think sometimes we don't realise that that is what we are sorely missing. And when we actually sort of look at it objectively and stand back and actually examine the landscape of our lives, we might think to ourselves, it's been a long time since I genuinely had a good belly laugh, or since I genuinely just explored an area I've never explored before, or it's been a long time since I really just let go and felt like I'm not constantly churning around in my brain with all the responsibilities that I have. And once you realise that you might actually just need a dose of pure fun and hedonistic joy, that's where these kinds of messages that we're going to be going through today are going to be useful, because sometimes it's hard to know how to find a groove in that wood. And especially if you have a lot of concerns, a lot of challenges, or you've got a lot of ambition and you're hard on your hustle, or if you've got issues with your mental health, your emotional well-being, if you've got chronic pain, all of these things can lead to a sense of not really knowing how to create more fun and more joy in your life. So that's what we're going to be looking into today. Please don't forget that it's perfectly okay to put your own views on things down in the comments section. So if a card comes up and you feel like there are interpretations that you have that could be useful to people, or you see something different in the cards, please don't hesitate to go down below and talk about your own ideas and exchange ideas. We love that. We are totally here for that. So definitely do that if you want to. Okay, so now me with my sad little bottle of water will proceed with an episode of Water and Tarot. It's tragic. Do let me know what you guys are drinking though, if you do have some tea on the go. I would be really interested to know that. Always looking for something a bit different and thinking about trying something interesting. I'm actually not purchasing tea right now, but I do have a lot of loose teas, and I do like to create little concoctions with my loose teas, and that's what I've been doing lately so that I can kind of get the feeling that I've got something new. Do you know what I mean? That is so funny. I can't buy any new tea, so I'm just making new teas from all the loose teas and giving myself that feeling that I've got something new. But it does work. It really does work. Okay, so with the first of the three cards that I'm going to be drawing today, I thought that what we could do is look into what kinds of things tend to maybe prevent us from being joyful, fun-loving, light-hearted, etc. There are a great many reasons why somebody might get to a point in their life where they're not really having a lot of fun, they're not really pursuing opportunities for adventure or joy. So obviously this first card is not going to give us an exhaustive list of every reason why we might feel we're not getting enough fun or enough adventure, but the card is going to give us a little bit of insight into what could be happening. So definitely tune in with this card, see if what it says is resonating with you. So the card that's come through from Joie de Vivre to give us some advice on this is Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is the card that's come through, and I love this particular figure in Joie de Vivre. She is adorable, and this incredible psychedelic lion is out of this world with those horns and everything. You cannot really help but love this deck. There is so much to it that is adorable, and I think that even though the images are so playful and so sweet, that doesn't stop the deck from giving profound readings. Ace of Wands is a really good representation in tarot of a surge of creative energy. It's representative of new ideas. It's representative of that fire that has been stoked and is actually burning. It's about really allowing yourself to open up to new possibilities. It's about getting that excitement and that buzz for something that you're planning or something that you're working on. So the fact that Ace of Wands appears in this first position where we're looking at what prevents us from experiencing fun and experiencing joy might imply that we don't quite know where to look for those things. Sometimes over the course of time, I think we change when it comes to the ways that we have fun. And that can actually be really scary and a little bit sad, can't it? When we have experienced our our fun and our joy in the same way for quite a few years, and we've always really enjoyed, you know, a specific hobby or a specific location or a specific kind of holiday or a specific kind of reading material, it can be very weird to realise that over the course of time you have just changed and you've evolved, and those things that brought you joy and brought you a sense of fun just don't work anymore. They don't appeal to you anymore. And that can be definitely something that involves a process of mourning and a process of acceptance, but we can also see it as something very exciting because it gives us the opportunity to think about what does bring us a sense of fun and joy and adventure. And it's actually like learning about yourself from this whole new place. So if you feel like the things that used to bring you joy just aren't really flicking your switches anymore, and you're not getting that sense of wonderment from those things, then you kind of have to go on an exploration to figure out what really floats your boat right now at this point in your life. And with all of the changes you've been through and everything that you've overcome, all the challenges that may have come up for you, all the things you've learned, you may find that there are new things that you want to pursue that you never really felt like pursuing before. Maybe they never interested you before, but now because of the changes you've been through as a human being, those things actually seem appealing. And that can be scary. Like I said, it can be a little sad because sometimes the things that you used to enjoy doing were things that you enjoyed doing with other people, you know, maybe your partner, maybe people in your community, maybe people online. And when you start to realise that, like, well, you know, I don't really get my fun from those things anymore, I don't feel joyful when I do those things, it can be sad because it also feels like you're saying goodbye to something that you shared with others and that you had connections with others over. So there's definitely a sense of mourning, but if you can bring yourself to a position where you also feel that it's exciting to explore new interests or new hobbies or new areas of research, then that's the best thing, isn't it? When you can really say to yourself, okay, I don't get my kicks the same way I used to, but now I'm going to go on an adventure and I'm going to figure out what it is that really makes me smile. When we decide that we're consciously going to seek more joy, more fun, more lightheartedness, we do have to be prepared to try new things. We have to be prepared to take action. We can't sit around feeling as though there's not really that spark and there's not really that joy, but at the same time we're not pursuing anything, we're not moving towards anything. I think Ace of Wands can sometimes be a representation of the fact that you need to take the first step. Maybe this card is asking us to consider whether or not we are actually lacking in action and lacking in initiative. Maybe we are waiting for something to come along to pull us out of our stupor or to delight us and make us feel plugged in, but actually we have to go and pursue those things. We have to try different things. We have to open ourselves up to the possibility that we're going to find fun and joy in the unexpected places. If we're sitting on our hands, if we're not taking action to bring new opportunities and experiences into our lives, then we do need to consider our degree of responsibility for the fun we're not having and for the sparks we're not enjoying, because we have to be prepared to go out there and get those things, or go inwardly and get those things, whatever the case may be. So Ace of Wands is a call to action. Think about how you can take some action to at least explore different possibilities for having fun and getting more adventure and lightheartedness into your life and into your world. And again, as with the previous message from this card, don't forget that you might have just moved on from the things that used to provide you with fun and joy, and it might be a good time for you to acknowledge that and decide how your sense of fun and adventure has evolved over the course of time. And as you do that, you might begin to start exploring things that you never imagined yourself exploring, and you may actually forge connections that you never expected or imagined, and that's always a beautiful thing. I think it's probably likely there's going to be at least one person who's going to watch this video and think, I've been continuing with a hobby or with a passion or with an interest for quite a long time now that I used to love, and I actually don't really love it anymore. You know what? It's not really for me anymore. It's not really doing it for me. And if that's you, don't worry about it. Embrace it. Recognize that you watched this video for a reason. You watched this video so you could say goodbye to that which is not really working for you, so that you can create space for the sources of fun and joy that need to come in. So with this next card, Honey Bunnies, I think what I want to do is look into various different ways that we can make sure that we are consistently having fun and experiencing joy. I know that it can't be a party all the time, all day, every day. Believe me, I suffer with depression, so I know that's true. But I think sometimes, you know, it's not enough to just have one or two really high altitude moments throughout the year or whatever, like when you go on holiday, for example, or something like that, or a concert you've been really looking forward to. to, that's wonderful, and we should give ourselves those experiences, those top shelf experiences. But what I'm really interested in is feeling joy in all of the small everyday occurrences, feeling like every day is filled with some sort of wonderment, you know, and that I can see the magic in the mundanity. And sometimes I don't know if mundanity is a word, and I haven't got time or the inclination to check. I hope it is though, because it's a really good one. And if I just made it up, then fuck it, I'm going to use it regularly until it becomes a word, damn it. So yeah, I like the idea of making sure that we can infuse more fun and joy into every day, and that can be very difficult for people. So many people look to those points on the horizon where they're going to be doing something exciting or seeing somebody they haven't seen for ages, and like I said, that's lovely, there's nothing wrong with that, but I do think that in the everyday we can start to think of it as just the everyday and not necessarily a time during which we can experience great joy and have loads of fun or feel like we're going on an adventure. And I like to feel like I'm going on an adventure when I'm just going to like the supermarket or the gym, you know. I want to feel like I'm always plugged into something that could give me joy and something that can remind me of the majesty of the experience of being alive, even though I, like everybody, do have my challenges. And I'm not saying that any of this advice that I'm giving today is going to cure you of mental health issues, or it's going to take all your challenges away. But what I am saying is it takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage to see the beauty of a butterfly's wing when you've been to the 7th layer of hell and come back, you know. So when you're going through shit, or when you've been through a lot of shit, you've experienced a lot of pain, it's not weak of you to feel that you experience joy from the small things and that you have gratitude for the everyday. It's strong. It's a strong thing to do. And it's one of the things that has meant so much to me about my own journey. So the card that helps us to understand how we can get more everyday joy and fun and kind of normalise joy and fun is 7 of Swords. I love the fact that this card has come through. 7 of Swords is really a card that I've had a fractious relationship with over the years, as I think a lot of people have. And actually I've come to this point with my exploration of this card where I really appreciate its presence. I very much appreciate it coming up. I'm going to share with you a little bit of gold about this particular card, and the gold comes from a client of mine that I was talking to during a tarot chat session of ours, and it really, really inspired me. And I feel like my client wouldn't mind me mentioning this, because when we talked about it and when my client actually hit upon it and explained their feelings about it, I was like, whoa, you know what, I never saw it that way. And I really love it when I'm doing a tarot chat session and I'm getting into the meanings of a card with a client, and the client actually schools me and gives me a different perspective. That is so humbling, and that is actually what should happen when you're teaching tarot. You should always be open to the new interpretations yourself. So with all that being said, basically what my client said to me was that sometimes when they look at the figure in 7 of Swords, which is so often considered to be a figure of treachery, you know, a thief, somebody who is running away with these swords under cover of darkness, being very sneaky, what my client sometimes thinks of is that actually they're more of a Robin Hood kind of figure, and they are robbing from the rich to give to the poor, or they are a freedom fighter and they are, you know, going towards this camp of oppressors and taking something from them that they can give back to the people to empower the people. So really what my client was saying was, what about if we see the figure from 7 of Swords as a hero? What about if we see the figure from 7 of Swords as being a person who wants to simply redress an imbalance? And when I look at it like that, it opens up a whole new set of meanings with this card. I think what 7 of Swords is asking us to consider is that we could be the hero in our own journey, and that every single day we are the central character. And a lot of the time we forget that, and that's one of the key ways that I think we can bring joy and fun into our lives on more of an everyday basis. It's by seeing ourselves as a character weaving a rich mythopoetic narrative, which is our own journey through life. And every single decision that we make is of great significance. Every single action we take is of great importance when we start to think of ourselves as the central character. And I'm not talking about disappearing up your own behind and becoming arrogant and, you know, all that jazz. I'm just talking about creating a situation for yourself every day where you see yourself as a significant figure, because you are. And in your life you should be the most significant figure. You know, even if you have children or a beloved partner and you're thinking, oh well, you know, they're really the important figures in my life, I would say to you, question that. Because if you don't consider yourself to be a significant core character in your own existence, then how are you going to give the degree of love and support and attention to those that you love, who you have in your life? You have to think of yourself as being the central character with important needs and with important motivations. Just as you would follow a character in one of your favourite fictional novels, like for example following with Harry Potter and really like investing yourself in his escapades, now it's time for you to start to do maybe the very same thing in your own life, where you really see yourself as this character that has challenges, that has a story arc, that has things that come along unexpectedly, and you've got to choose your weapons, you've got to choose your resources, you've got to really use your innovation and your initiative to make things happen and to jump over any hurdles. And if you think of yourself as that central character in your own story, then that becomes much more enchanting than it is mind-numbing or scary or yucky, you know. So it's about switching your mentality so that you're thinking about your story as something that is sacred, and it's something that you're living every day, and the excitement of that, I think, can be quite palpable. Also, since I'm talking about Seven of Swords being potentially a figure of a hero who's doing something great, who's doing something to, you know, really restore an imbalance or an injustice, I can't help but think that the card is also asking us where we can make a difference. I feel like a lot of my fun and my joy comes from a place of knowing that I've also been in service and I've also tried to make a difference in some regard. And we make a difference in all kinds of ways. Everybody does it in their own way according to their abilities, their circumstances, and what they are feeling called to move towards and take action on. Ask yourself whereabouts you want to take some action to create positive change, whether it's helping someone, whether it's helping the planet, whether it's creating a sense of love and joy in your environment, in your community, in your school, in your workplace. There's so many different ways that you can occupy the roles of the hero, the liberator, the joy bringer in other people's lives, you know? So it's really about recognizing that you can hold those kinds of archetypes to you as well. You can operate from their energy, and you can see yourself making positive change, caring, taking action, getting things done, and that is incredibly joy-giving and hope-giving. And also, whenever we feel like we've done something to create positive change, or we've given something, our time, our focus, whatever it might be, our money, you know, donating, I think after that we really feel like we can relax into the joy that is coming into our line of sight as well. We are less likely to overlook it. We are more inclined to really engage with it because we feel like we've been engaging with the world around us and like we've done something to be effectual. And so the joy and the happiness that's coming to us or that surrounds us is almost like a little bit of a reward, and we are far more willing to take that reward if we feel that we've done something for it. It's like a sort of point of harmony in the cosmos. It's like, yeah, I've done something to affect change, I've done something to connect with someone else or to help the planet, and now I'm gonna relish a little bit of joy and luxuriate in a little bit of adventure. How lovely for me. And very often I think that's how we can allow ourselves to relax into joy rather than resisting it or seeing it as not really being there. I think the final card for today's Water and Tarot episode, darlings, is going to be what kinds of things to keep in mind when you are actively pursuing more joy. So what kinds of things might you need to sort of recollect or focus on when you are creating a more joyful, more fun-loving life with more adventure and more opportunities for happiness? So the card that's come through to let us know what to keep in mind is King of Coins. King of Coins is the card that's come through here. And isn't he such an adorable, whimsical character? I really love him. I feel like he's got some pretty heavy eye makeup on, and I love the crown. I'm really into the tailoring and the sort of the ruff around the neck and everything. I'm so silly. I always go to talking about fashion, guys. You know it's true. King of Coins has come along to remind us that we have a sovereign relationship with our sense of joy. And what I mean by that is that we get to decide what brings us a sense of joy, what brings us a sense of fun. We get to decide what is healthy for us in those ways and what we want to pursue more of. It's not about looking to the left of you or the right of you at what other people are doing. It's not about allowing other people to convince you of of how you should be getting your dose of joy or your dose of adventure. Not everybody is doing life in the same way. Not everybody has the same capabilities. Not everybody has the same outlook, and not everybody has the same needs. I remember when I was younger and I really felt actually quite heavily bombarded by people telling me that I really needed to go backpacking. You know, pack up everything in a suitcase, babe, go for 3 months, go for 6 months, it's amazing. When I was in Thailand, when I was in Australia, etc., etc., you know, this backpacking superiority feeling where people have been traveling out of a bag for ages and suddenly they're convinced everybody in the world should do it. Everybody should, you know, really sort of like take that leap and do that thing. And actually that kind of thing is not very healthy for me, and I don't really enjoy it. Because of my particular set of issues and my particular personality traits and what I've been through with mental health, I actually prefer to know when I'm going to be coming back to my reality, you know, my home, where I live, where my stuff is. I like to go on holidays, I like to go on trips, that kind of thing. But backpacking, the idea of just going away for 3 months or more, or, you know, just for ages without having any base, any home base, that actually doesn't fill me with joy, that idea. And that's okay. You know, it's okay if you don't want to do what your friend is insisting you've got to do to feel better about your life. It's okay if you don't want to listen to the music that fills somebody else with joy. It's okay if you don't want to engage in the pastimes that somebody is telling you, you know, tends to fill them with joy. It's about checking in with you. It's about thinking about what you want and what makes you feel fizzy. And sometimes that might be in a very unexpected place. And you know what? That is okay. You have got to give yourself permission to seek joy in a way that really switches you on. King of Coins can very often be a figure in tarot that reminds us that we can always be working towards something and developing something. I think that the idea of having fun and being lighthearted and experiencing joy can often seem to people as though it's going to take them away from their ambitions. It's going to pull them away from what they're trying to achieve. You know, they're very super serial about what they're trying to achieve, and they don't want to be pulled off track by, you know, going out there and seeking frivolous experiences. You know, the idea of having fun and seeking joy, those things may seem frivolous to a lot of people that really feel like they've got a very strong sense of what they need to achieve and the time frame in which they want to get it done. I think what King of Coins is implying strongly is that when you pursue joy, when you allow more fun into your life, what's actually happening is you're giving yourself the fuel and the sustenance that you need on a psycho-spiritual level to be able to reach your goals and really go hard after whatever you're hustling for. So there is not a complete disconnect between these two things. When you allow yourself fun and joy and adventure, you are feeding that part of you that is ambitious and tenacious and go-getting. I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind. I think that when we are pursuing opportunities to have fun, be joyful, relax into our sense of adventure, we need to always remember that that is not just time where we're being lazy and non-productive. It's actually time where we're being very productive, and it's a very good, useful thing to do because it brings us back to the work that we're doing in the world with a greater sense of meaning and a feeling that we have been refreshed and rejuvenated and we're ready to get back to what we're doing with our lives. I think that too little fun and an absence of joy can actually prevent us from going full steam ahead and really cooking on gas with what it is that we're trying to achieve. So the two things are locked together, and you will notice that when you allow yourself to have moments of joy, a day of fun, you know, really just allowing yourself to explore or be adventurous or excited, then when you go back to what you're trying to achieve in the world, you are running better. Your machinery is running better. Your mind is clearer. You feel actually really fed and really fulfilled. Do not tell yourself that you have to make the choice between fun and joy and then, you know, achieving your dreams and going after your ambitions. The two things are like a Venn diagram. There is that overlap there. And if you don't give yourself to fun and joy, if you don't access those things in your life, you're going to find that your ambitions and your goals and your projects are suffering ultimately. So there we go. This has been an episode of Tea and Tarot where we've looked into some thoughts and musings regarding fun and joy and how to bring more of that good stuff into your life. And I have not had any tea, and I'm wondering if the power cut has stopped now. No, it hasn't, because I haven't gone back onto my Wi-Fi. I'm still on my 4G. Oh, this is so irritating. I had so many things I wanted to do today. I've got some client readings that I want to film. I'm really hoping the electricity kicks back in soon, guys. This is not great. But for the meantime, I'm really glad that I actually had an opportunity to film this, and water or not, I feel like it was a really pleasant episode, and I hope the insights have given you something to work with and chew on. And one thing I want to mention before I go, or a couple of things really, is first of all, you can always pick up a tarot reading with me. If you would like tailored one-on-one advice, you can go down below and click over to my online store and you will see everything there that I provide for my clients. I'm a full-time card slinger and I love doing it. It is my life's work, it is my life's mission, and it's the cherry on top of the cake that is my life. So if you want to come along and get some guidance from me, from the cards, please do so. And the other exciting announcement that I have is that this is actually the 30th episode of Tea and Tarot. It is the 30th that I've done since I first started, and I'm really excited because I can celebrate this milestone by letting you know that I have a little bit of merch that you can now purchase. This is a project that I've been working on with my amazing friend who is an illustrator and a graphic designer. Her name is Jenny Lloyd, and she's been making a few things for me to celebrate not only the self-love content that I put out into the world, but also the Tea and Tarot episodes as well. I am really, really pleased and happy with what we've come up with. I think it's beautiful. I think that the designs are so gorgeous, and we're going to have a lot more merch coming down the pipeline. But for now, there is some Tea and Tarot stuff that you can get. You can get a notebook for yourself, or a tote bag, or a t-shirt, and you will also find some self-love related merchandise as well, which really sort of taps into one of the key messages that I really put across in my self-love content. So if you enjoy my self-love stuff, or you enjoy my Tea and Tarot stuff, and you would like to support my business and get yourself something snazzy and new, please go over to the link I've provided in the down bar for all my merchandise that is out now. And if you're on a depth year, do not use this as an excuse to stop your depth year. I see you depth year people, do not click on that link. Okay, darlings, until next time, so much love and so much tarot magic. Blessed be. Mwah.